Hey, this is Victor with Ventabot, and welcome back to another episode of Don't Kill the Messenger, where today we're going to really dive into funnels, and I have someone very special here that's helped me along the way as well. Now, before I forget, don't remember to go on over to ventabot.com/book to get your copy of the book to generate never-ending leads online. It's the same process we take our private clients through so we can help them scale. Now, today I have Cody Burch, and he is, I swear, like, this guy is fantastic. He knows everything about funnels and ads. He's helped me along the way as well. So he's one of my, I would say, mentors. But welcome, Cody. How are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome, Victor. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. So I know like we could probably spend hours talking about these topics here, but one specifically I know is something that you've done recently. And over the last year, I've seen you grow tremendously with live events and using what you do digitally and merging it with the physical and the intimate of meeting people. That's something that I've wanted myself to eventually get into, and I've started kind of going down that route. But what would you say to anybody that's thinking about either hosting their own event or kind of going through that process of getting to that level?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've noticed something in the last few years as people like you, Victor, and people like me, we try to automate our businesses as much as we can. In fact, right before we hit record, we were kind of joking about how automation can go wrong sometimes. And when we overly automate things, like we all do, we can lose touch with our customers. And so I love automation. I'm an engineer by education, not by ever worked as an engineer, but I love creating systems and coding and algorithms and repeatable systems and processes and those things. And the more I can do that, I think the better. Like, what if I never had to interact with people and could just make money and serve people, automatically? That'd be incredible. And maybe that's not what, you think about business and people you seek to serve. But what I've noticed is that's, number one, not true. Number two, it's a short-term potential gain, meaning if we could drive a bunch of cold traffic to, let's say, a webinar and then maybe sell a course or a continuity or membership and then never talk to them, that's not helpful. They won't stick around that long. You won't make a big lasting impact in your life like I feel like we're called to make. And so a live event is the opposite of all those things. It's not super scalable. It's definitely very intimate and in person. At my last two events I've done two events. So the last two events I've done, I made it a point to shake everybody's hand every morning. I'd walk around the room and shake their hand. And the first event, I knew everybody pretty much. It was a pretty small event. Second one was pretty small too, but there were more new people there. So I made it a point to touch everybody, shake their hand or touch them on the shoulder and say, thank you for coming, or good morning, or welcome to day two, or whatever. Because in this overly automated online world that you and I run around in, we lose that personal touch. And I don't mean personal touch like using your name. I mean actually, putting your hands on somebody or interacting with them or taking a photo with them or teaching them and looking at their response and their eyes and their face as they're getting that aha moment or as that light bulb illuminates over their head. A live event is the best way to do that. It's got a ton of challenges. I'm sure that you and I can dive into those as well. But in an overly automated world, a live in-person experience is a way to really add value, really change people's lives, really provide that transformation that I think we all want as business owners in a live, intimate experience.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It definitely, I would say, to add to that, it definitely gets us out of our I guess, monotonous way of working, and then we kind of take ourselves away and we're specifically focused at that event for whatever the promise of the event that we're going to is. So that's definitely one of the things I found, which is one of the reasons I started loving going to events. I actually did that in the matter of 3 months or 2 months. I think I went to 5 events and I was like, This is way too much, but don't get stuck there. But definitely it was a way to really interact and get yourself out of the behind the scenes. I know you and me are kind of like that behind the scenes person for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So what would you say, how can we add a personal touch to what we do online, for example? Because I know we can dive into funnels or anything of that nature, but how have you found to really be able to add that personal touch when we go to start automating things?
Yeah. So my short answer, I think, is you can't automate personal touches. I think that's my short answer. The long answer, though, so about a year ago, I did my first free 5-day challenge, which was one of the methods I used, one of the many methods I used to try to fill my first event last June. Mm-hmm. And on that 5-day challenge, there were close to 300 people that registered, and I used an app called Bonjoro, Bonjoro. And this app is I think I pay $25 a month. I don't know what it costs now. And I still pay, but I'm not using it as much. But a year ago, I sent a personal video to every single person who registered for the 5-day challenge. This kind of caught on, and somebody put it in the digital marketer Facebook community, like, hey, this guy's doing this thing. And Ryan Deiss talks about doing what doesn't scale. And so one guy opted in, and I didn't know he opted in from that Facebook post. And I shot him a video while I was walking my dog. And then little did I know, he went back in the Facebook group and he's like, it's true. He did it just now. I opted in and he shot me a video and he was out walking his dog in his cul-de-sac on his neighborhood. Like, this guy's crazy. And I remember Ryan Deiss even commented, and he's a big fan of mine. Let me rephrase. I'm a big fan of his. He's not a big fan of mine yet. But for him to comment like, hey, Cody, like, you're doing it. The more people should be doing what Cody's doing here, and taking a minute and sending a video to everybody who opts in for his stuff. I also have some props. It's almost as if I planned this, but I promise I didn't. I have a paid membership called the FAM, and the FAM stands for Funnels and Ads Mastery. And I have a stack of these on my desk. And anytime I see somebody doing something well in the FAM or getting a victory, I keep a roster of their mailing address, and I just write them a quick note. I've got a stack of them. I've got like 1,000 of them. And then I have a private coaching community that you've been a part of, Victor, called The Crew. I do the same thing for The Crew. I just keep these cards on my desk, and they're literally, as you just saw, within arm's reach, with a stack of envelopes and a stack of stamps, to be able to acknowledge people for their victories, for their challenges, for them getting success with what we're teaching in the program, to be able to acknowledge them with either a video or a handwritten letter, or if they have a baby, let's just say, for example, maybe you buy them a bunch of diapers or something like that. Hypothetically, when you had your second baby, paying attention to those types of things.
We're laughing because that's what he did for me. So, yeah.
Paying attention. A mutual friend of ours, Allison, I can't stop thinking about this. So Allison, her husband's military, and she's a friend of ours and a client of ours, and we work with Allison. Her husband's coming home from being deployed for the first time ever. He's coming home on March 6th. So I'm racking my brain, like, I wonder what their favorite restaurant is. Like, just as a friend and like a colleague and somebody that, she's in the crew, and like, I'm in her coaching program too. Like, how can I send her a gift card for dinner? Like, get somebody to take care of their crazy dog. And then like it's that amount of caring and paying attention to what's happening in our customers and who we seek to serve. And then, man, what does that cost to stamp, for them to get a postcard or a letter saying, hey, I see you, and I'm paying attention to what you're going through, good or bad. And you got this. Like, that means a ton. So there are probably ways to automate what I just said. Like, there's apps like, there's an app called Felt that I haven't messed with yet, but Felt is an app like on an iPad, and you use an Apple Pencil, and you can you're literally handwriting notes, but digitally on a card, and you can type in their address, and it'll mail your handwritten card on your behalf to your people. I haven't done it yet because I still had to like upload all these addresses, and I got a little frustrated and annoyed, and just like, I've got this stack of postcards here. I'll just send the postcards. But there's apps like that can make our lives easier. But at one point in my business, we did actually automate, and it looked like handwriting font, and people catch on to that stuff. They're like, you didn't even send this. Like, you typed this into a website, and it's perfectly spaced letters that aren't handwritten, but look like they are. What are you trying to pull? Why didn't you just mail me the letter? So I try not to automate those personal touches as much in my business anymore.
No, I definitely love that. And I know you and I have I wonder if is that Cameron, a lot of that stuff also come from Kieran.
Yeah.
Like a personal friend of ours that he really focuses on that personal touch. But that's something I love myself. I started doing when someone gets the book, like, I'm still sending these out.
Same. I got a stack of those here too. And a stack of these patent envelopes to send them out.
Yeah.
My desk is very messy.
It's not like, it's just, I really love that particular piece of it. And it's something I learned a lot from you as well, actually, like seeing what you were doing with it. And I was just like, that's pretty cool. So what can you tell us then about how that, I know it's kind of hard to put like an ROI or something like that on something like that, but like, what would you say has happened because you started adding these personal touches to this digital experience that we all generally go through?
Yeah, I think it is impossible to put an ROI number on there, though I know it's worth it and I know it's working. For me, the biggest expression of these little tactics working, which could be you email somebody a podcast episode of yours or of someone else's that you think they would like. A friend of mine, Mike, last Friday, he's like, hey, check this one out. This is really good. Like, that just makes me love Mike even more because he's curating the world of podcasts. It wasn't his show, it was somebody else's show, but he thought the content could really serve me. And that just builds trust over time. It builds that affinity and that relationship over time. And so for me, the fullest expression of that is, can I get people to get on a plane or a train or an automobile and come to Denver once or twice a year to learn funnels and ads and marketing tactics from me in person over 3 days and pay for their food, their gas, leave their family, leave their home, pay for a hotel and airfare, whatever. Like, that's a big deal. And that's my biggest lesson I learned about hosting live events is that's no small ask. So let's say somebody downloaded a free resource and on the thank you page, I was like, hey, cool, your free resource is on its way. Do you want to come to Denver in 4 months, and get a plane ticket and spend $2,000 in tickets, airfare, and hotel? The resounding answer is no, of course not. Who are you? Why would I ever do that? And like, I'm kind of annoyed that you would even ask. Like, that's such a huge ask for you to do that. And so what I found is over time, building that amount of trust. Like, I was looking back to, there's a guy named Andrew who came to the first event and he brought a person with him named Karen, and Karen joined the crew. And it's like, well, how did that all go? Well, Andrew joined that first 5-day challenge I mentioned a year ago, and I shot him a video. I didn't know Andrew. I don't remember how he knew who I was. He might have just seen an ad. He happens to live in our city. And you chase that down and go, well, that's meant literally through the people he's introduced me to, through my live events and programs and other things I've had. It's meant literally tens of thousands of dollars in revenue for my company through me shooting this guy I didn't know a video and just trusting that it would work out, that he would enjoy that process, that he would go through that challenge, but I never could have dreamed that video, and if only we knew, right? Like, well, you shot 300 videos. Did they all mean tens of thousands of dollars? No, maybe 2 or 3 of them meant tens of thousands of dollars, but you don't know which ones. And then approaching your business with humanity and treating people like humans and not numbers or, a dot on a spreadsheet or another contact in your CRM.
Yeah.
I don't know how much ROI that's worth, but it's a lot, and it's hard to pin down, and it's not a shortcut or a hack or a fast track to growing a really quick business. But if you're playing the long game, like I know you are, Victor, and I'm assuming people who listen to the show and watch the show are building a long-term business they can be really proud of, it's worth it for you to figure out. I was thinking too, on our last question, I'll end this thought with this. I heard Brad Martineau recently, a guy we both love. Brad Martineau used to work at 6th Division. Then he works at, he does work at 6th Division. Used to work at Infusionsoft. And he talks about people want automation, but he talks about making things automatic. And so what that means is, for me, when people join my membership community via Zapier and the power of a lot of cool, fancy systems, they get added to some automation, and I'm notified that they bought, and then they get an onboarding sequence of emails. Those are all automated, but I still need to book a one-on-one call with them. And I also need to send them a postcard welcoming them to the community. And Victor, you had some really slick automation, quite frankly, from when I booked this interview, which was really cool. And now we're talking one-on-one. Like, this part's not automated. I didn't click a link and now I'm talking to a blank screen, answering a list of 5 questions. We're having a human conversation right now. So that's a great example. What you put me through to get on this show is awesome. And a combination of automation, which is incredible. And then the series of events that led us here, now talking face-to-face, voice-to-voice on Zoom, having this chat. I hope that makes sense. But that combo of, we can create automated systems in our business and then mix that with human interaction. And Brad Martineau talked about this too. If you went in a factory 100 years ago, like the Ford Motor Company factory, what would you see? Well, you would see people working with machines. And then now, 100 years later, you see Victor, a human, working with the machine of ManyChat and automation to have this conversation now. So we still see humans working with machines to really build our business. Where you lose is if it's just humans working with humans. Like, I think it's not scalable, and you'll run yourself into the ground. Or just the machine doing all the work. Your business won't grow with just a machine doing all the work. So anyways, to build trust, to get people a real transformation, for me to convince them to come to a live event, it's about adding value in those personal touches over time, kind of for a long time, over and over again, for a couple years, and then maybe they'll come to your event and be a part of that as well.
That I love that you said that, over a couple of years, because it is true. Like, I know a lot of people really focus on this, or at least in our space, we probably hear it so much more than everyone else. Like, everyone's focused on the people that are buying in the first 7, 10, 30 days or something like that. And that's majority of the people. Most people, they just try to focus there.
Yeah.
And it's well, if they don't buy, then we'll move on to the next person.
Yep.
And it's kind of just like you said, they're not just numbers. It's not just another contact. It's not just another dollar. It's a person on the other side of that, so and if we think of how we buy from each other, we don't, I wouldn't just walk up to you and be like, hey, you want to buy some cookies? that's not how that works. So
Yeah, the
how
last
we
funnel
kind
I just launched a 1 hour ads funnel. Quick plug for 1 hour ads. It's the
yeah.
newest funnel I made, and there's nothing to buy on the thank you page, which is the opposite of how I usually build funnels. I'll give somebody something for free and then make a low ticket offer on the thank you page to help offset my cost of paid traffic. So almost all my funnels work, still work to this day and have worked in the past. I thought, well, let's just try something different. I'm going to have trouble justifying this to my wife and to my bookkeeper and to my ops manager, all different people. I'm just like, the spreadsheet of this is going to be like, I spent this much money and I made literally zero. But let's just see how that goes long term. Like, can I get dollar leads? I literally launched ads, a few hours before going live with you. So I have no
Nice.
clue how it's doing. But on the thank you page, it says, here's the thing you thought you were getting. It's right here. No need to go chase it somewhere else. And if you want some other stuff, I've got other free resources on that page as well. So in a way, there's two new offers on the thank you page, and I'm going to see how that does. But I'm just testing for the first time ever. Hey, what if I didn't try to get them to pull their wallet out when they literally have no clue who I am yet? Let's just see how that goes. And there's something to be said about both of those methods. And I'll report back on how this one with literally no way for them to give me money will go. But it's a heap of goodwill, and I've got the budget now to spend on traffic to get people to opt in, to give them value. Now they're on my list and they can join other promotions I got coming on in the future.
Yeah, so I love that, because you're just continuing to give, right? It's like, so I know someone we both follow. Nick says this all the time. He's like, you got to give before you can ask. Yep. But one of the things, and you just mentioned there, like, you now have the budget to really run traffic. I'm curious what your thoughts are if someone were to say, like, well, I've done it before, it didn't work, or like, I can't afford it. Like, how would you answer that if someone were to tell you that, as far as ads go?
Yeah, I'm really interested in shortcutting people's, not shortcutting, sorry, identifying the shortest path from us getting our clients a result. Like, what's the shortest path to the cash? So I'm not phrasing that very well. It's the longest path of that sentence to get to the shortest path of the cash. So lots of people I advise are the same path that I went down. Right when I started my company just over 3 years ago, the very first thing I did was done for you services, and I charged several $1,000s a month. I didn't start there, but as quickly as I could, I got to a couple $1,000 per project. So per funnel I was building or per ad campaign I was managing. That was way better than me selling, $7 ebooks or $19 courses or $4 a month continuity. It would take me forever. I would run out of money and time and patience if I were selling, $6 courses or something like that, or books. Like, I got my 1099 from Amazon last year from Kindle Direct Publishing. It was for $100. I think I made, $7 per book and sold it. I've given away thousands of copies. That's way more fun. But I sold, it looks like, whatever the math is, 12 copies on Amazon. If that was my full-time hustle, of course I'd be out of business. So the number one thing I would recommend somebody who says ads are expensive is then you're not generating enough revenue and solving enough interesting big problems for other people that can afford to pay you. So you can then delegate. To me, I do 10 to 20% of my revenues towards spending money on ads, which means last week I launched a brand new campaign. Within 72 hours, I had spent a couple $100, and it was for sure a stinker. It wasn't good. It was, I think it was the offer. It was just a bad offer. But I'm not like, well, I wasn't out that money now. Like, now I know, and now I can take that lesson, and I need to change that offer. Honestly, for that specific thing, I think I need to change the title of the offer. The contents of what I was selling was great, but the title was off. But I had that money budgeted already, allocated and spoken for out of the revenues of my agency, the revenues of my coaching program, the revenues of my membership site to do that. So if you say you don't have enough money to spend on ads, I would counter that with like, what needs to be true for you to be able to spend $500 a month on ads, or $10 a day is $300 a month, $20 a day, 600, $30 a day is about $1,000 a month. You need an extra $1,000 that's not disruptive to your business. Because to me, I've won way more with ads in the long term. I have never, and none of my clients have really found a way to crack the code of run an ad today, make money tonight. Like that, I guess it's possible. I know some people have done it, or at least their Facebook ads say they do it, or they teach that, but it's not exactly what I've seen. The closest I've ever gotten is like that 5-day challenge I ran. I ran ads for 2 weeks. I did a 5-day challenge, and I made an offer at the end, and I made a few $1,000, not tens of thousands, but I made more than I spent on Facebook ads. Or I'll open up my membership site. I'll spend $2,000 for 2 weeks on Facebook ads. Then I'll make $5,000 when I do the enrollment for the course. So over like a 3 or 4 week span, I make money back. Right now, I'm just sowing seeds. I went to the University of Oklahoma, and our mascot, well, there's lots of mascots, but there's this huge statue of this seed sower. He's just reaching into his pouch and he's scattering seeds. He's not moving like I did. He's literally a statue. But I think about that a lot of what we're doing with Facebook ads, and we're spreading goodwill, and we're spreading with those videos or those personal touches. We don't know which ones are going to find rich soil and grow into something amazing. But in the meantime, we're scattering seeds with the Facebook ads, with offers we're making, with our funnels, with the emails that we send, with the podcasts we're making, with the Facebook lives and the Zoom calls. We're just, we're spreading seeds.
Cool. Yeah, no, I love it. I mean, like it makes perfect sense to me. And I hope that made sense to everyone listening that may be thinking that. I get sometimes people are like, I've tried them in the past, it didn't work, or I just don't have enough in my budget for now. And it's true. Asking the question of like, well, what needs to be true? That's something I definitely learned from you, is if it doesn't serve you when you say like, oh, I can't do that, flip it and just change how you look at it. Like, what needs to be true to be able to do that? And then you start getting creative and learning how you can make that possible. So that's definitely fantastic. And I love being able to fast track that myself too. I would consider myself an impatient entrepreneur.
Yep.
So like I love being able to test things like that fast as well. And some things, they don't work out the way you want them to. Just like, you mentioned, there's no really magic bullet there. And if they found it, they probably have a million failures behind that, so it's.
Yeah. I make a lot of funnels. I'm notorious. I think this week I made my new 1 hour ads funnel. This morning I launched my June event funnel. It's not really a funnel. It's more of a sales page. That was on Tuesday, I think Monday or Tuesday. And then last Friday, I published a new funnel that I told you didn't work. So that's 3 in the last week. I'm not always on that breakneck pace, but also 2 months ago, I feel like I found for the first time, it's my best converting offer. It's getting me leads at the cheapest. People are commenting very nice things on my ads. Like one guy, and I screenshotted it because I'm a marketer. He said, more people should be like you. I was like, really? Usually people just troll your ads, or they say mean things or snarky things.
Yeah.
But where people are like, this is so helpful, and they're tagging their friends. I'm like, well, this is definitely new for me. So it takes trial and error and faith to do that. But to close the loop on if people say ads don't work for me, that's a different problem than I can't afford it. The I can't afford it thing, like go get 5 people to give you $1,000 a month to do something interesting for them, or get 1 person at $5,000 a month or whatever. It's probably a different episode. And then spend 500 to 1,000 of that you're making now on Facebook ads, so you can grow your business and increase the number of people that you can possibly help someday. So that's that problem. If ads don't work for you well, it's typically the offer. I've seen really bad copy convert well when the offer is really good or really clear. Yeah. So the 3 parts in my 1 hour ads funnel that I'm working on right now, it's the copy, the creative, and the crowd. So like the copy is like what it says, the creative is what it looks like, and the crowd is who you're advertising your offer to. So for my ad that was a stinker last week, I literally think it's the name, and I'll tell you what it is. I had a new video training called How to Ethically Win with Funnels and Ads, which that to cold traffic. I got a lot of not spam comments, but like thoughtfully negative comments. Like one guy said, hey, the fact that you're using the word ethically in your Facebook ads tells me you're unethical. And I was like, that's interesting. So I engaged him. I said, hey, thank you for the feedback, for taking time to comment. What word turned you off, and how could I better phrase this so you'd be more interested in? And we chatted back and forth, but that happened enough. And I got like $25 leads, and I was like, this is off. Like something's off. Yeah. Looking back, it had to be the offer, because the copy, I know how to write good copy. The copy's great. The design of the funnel was beautiful. Like it had checked all the boxes, but the offer was turning people off. And so I'm going to reload that, and honestly, probably just swap out the front slide, change the name of the offer, change the slug of the URL that people can opt in to watch this video training. And because that what I was trying to do is it builds on the conversation you and I are having now about treating people in our marketing with humanity, and not with automation, and not for Fortune 500 companies, and not with fake scarcity, and not with fake countdown clocks, and not with some of the spammy tactics that you and I have heard taught over the years. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to counterbalance that with what I thought would be a really cheeky title called How to Ethically Win with Funnels and Ads, and not do the stuff that makes you feel like you need to take a shower when you're done learning it. Yeah. And it bombed. So I'm gonna rename that. I forget where I was going with that. Other than I need to share that. I need to share that publicly and get that out there. That it stinks. And it's in that case, it was the offer, not the copy. The crowd is good. That this is my crowd. I've got my email list is big enough. I advertise mainly to lookalike audience of my email list, and it just works every time. So if that audience is working with this offer, this offer, this offer, this offer, this offer, and the funnel is beautifully designed, it's obviously the offer. You know, that's obviously what's not working. So I would challenge anybody that says ads don't work, you're missing something, the copy's off, the crowd is off, the creative is off. Most usually it's the offer. Like what you're telling them to do is unclear or uninteresting. Those are the two main reasons. Like if they don't know what you're asking them to do on the Facebook ad, or if it solves an uninteresting problem. And I'll just make up a silly example, but if you said, hey, this free training will help you lose a pound of fat in 6 months, you'd be like, I can do that, you know, today, you know, by not having as much salt and no dessert. Like I could lose a pound overnight. So like that's an uninteresting problem. I'm being silly, but like I still see offers out there. You read through the copy and think that nobody even has that problem. And with me too, like nobody was asking. They didn't wake up and say, how do I ethically win with funnels and ads? Oh, boom, here's a free training. Oops. Like,
yeah, no, I completely get that. And it's true. Like I also agree, you know, it tends to be the offer. Like as long as it makes sense. And that's how I validate a lot of things. Like, does this make sense? If it makes sense, then sure. But if it doesn't make sense, then people are going to be like, no, thanks, you know, because they're just confused about it. So definitely some good insight there. So we're kind of wrapping up on time here, but I know if we were to walk away with a couple of things, I know you've said it already, right? Really look at reinvesting some of the revenue you're already making into ads so that you can quickly get those results that people are looking for, to see if something works or not, because not everything will work. And then, you know, if we're not seeing results, like what is it? It has to be the offer of some kind. We swap that out, change how we position it, change how it's presented, and then we can go from there. Anything else you'd like to leave everyone with?
Yeah, I just know I've seen Facebook ads work in so many niches that I just know that it works. It's a problem worth people figuring out. It's a problem worth solving in your business. I don't care what business you're in. I've sold barnwood picture frames. I've sold liquid minerals. I've sold men's hair regrowth. I've sold women's fitness programs. I've sold franchises. I've sold baby sleep. I mean, I've sold so many things with Facebook ads. So it's not like, well, that doesn't work for my niche. I sold men's hair restoration, like with Facebook ads and funnels. Like it works. You're looking at it wrong. It'd be like saying, I don't go to the gym. The gym makes me fat. If the gym is making you fat, you're doing something wrong in your business. It's your mindset. It's what you're doing when you're at the gym. You're doing something wrong. And so people that say Facebook ads don't work for my business, they haven't cracked the code yet, or they've given up too easily, or they made a bad offer, or they got some bad advice, or something like that. And so that's why I talked about like, so my offer, if you want to see my offer that's converting really well, we can put it in the notes and the comments and stuff, but it's this course I made called how to actually set up your ad account. So I would start there. If anybody's like, this all sounds kind of scary, you need to take this course. Here's what I did. Here's my sales pitch. My wife needed a business manager set up for her business. So I got on her laptop and I recorded her screen and I set up her business manager for her. And I made them in short little 1 to 3 minute videos. So here's how to set up business manager. Here's how to set up your ad account. Here's how to set up a brand new fan page from scratch. Here's how to make a pixel from scratch. Here's where to put the pixel so you can easily access it. And then the fifth, it's a 5-day course. It's a 5-lesson course. You can go as fast as you want. The videos are really short. The whole course is probably 30 minutes or less if you just watched all the videos. The fifth one, I recorded my screen as I set up my brand new ad campaign to get people to opt in for the free course, if that makes sense. So it's kind of meta. Like if you see an ad on Facebook, how I made that whole campaign is lesson 5 of the 5-lesson course, if that makes sense. So it's a free course. It's doing very well for me right now. It's generating a lot of goodwill. It solves the number one problem I was getting in the marketplace of, well, how do I make sure it's set up correctly? Or what the heck is a pixel? Or what audiences do I need? Or whatever. Or why do I need business manager? I answer all those questions in a super simple, bite-sized, free 5-day course. And I love it right now. So we can link up how to get that. But that's what I'd recommend people do as a starting point from me or from somebody else or from whatever. But like, this is a problem we're solving in people's businesses. And that free course will definitely at least get your account set up correctly so you're ready to go advertise to people.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I love it. I know when I saw it launch, I was like, oh, that's fantastic. I know that's a big problem for a lot of people. And they're like, I don't even know how to set up that back end, right? They're so used to just boosting a post from their regular Facebook page, which you lose so much control on that, just doing that.
Yep.
But thank you so much again for coming on. I appreciate it as always. I love talking to you every time I learn something new from you. So it's fantastic. So to, I guess, wrap it up, we want to make sure that we are not just making things as automated as possible, but we're adding that human touch. We're making sure that, we're reinvesting back into our business by using ads to quickly test things. And if something isn't working on that test, then make sure we change how the offer is presented or positioned so that we can start to see those results come in. So now, if you're serious about generating never-ending leads online, go on over to ventobot.com/book to get your copy of the book, The Complete Automation Strategy, the 4 phases to generating never-ending leads. That way you can start to take Cody's free course to how to set up your business manager. And then this book will help you along the way to be able to understand how to message, how to talk to people, and go through all of that to attract, engage, elevate, and convert everyone that you're talking to. Until next time, I'm Victor with VentoBot. Later.